KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome back to the tour around the world featuring Sublogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore Amiga. Something that's near and dear to me. Amiga 500 was the very first PC that I bought. Not the first flight simulator that I've flown, but the first PC that I bought that I could call mine. The one that I saved up for, it was mine. Mine. We're going to have some fun. Let's go ahead and talk about the flight that we're going to do. Okay, we're right here, Detroit Metro rain. It's going to be raining at Detroit Metro Wayne, apparently. We're going to be flying here to Capital City in Lansing, Michigan. We'll be passing over Willow Run, so you'll see that. And we should be able to tune into Lansing 110.8. We'll tune into that. And then we will also leave from Lansing at a heading of... Well, that's thick, but it's not quite what I wanted to do there. Like, oh man, come on, really? Okay, so like a 010 heading. Probably 02 heading, yeah. No, I like 010. But anyway, the idea is to get somewhere around here so we can line up at the runway. Or we could use a different runway. That could always be interesting. Like we could use the runway that's, you know, right over here. There's another runway there. Let's do that. Let's do something a little bit different. Now you gotta like how these VOR radios are like all covered up and stuff, because what I have to do is I have to go look for another one that's not covered up, so that way I can get an idea of what the direction is. I'd say, let's see, 32, 31, 30 is about there, 30. I think 310 might do it. Yeah. So we'll go to Salem, 114.3, and then we'll depart from that VOR at a heading of 310, and that should get us somewhere in front of that runway there. Do a little something different. You guys like different, right? That's why you're here. Because when it comes to flight simulators, we do something different. Something that other people don't do. We'll go ahead and turn this puppy on. The sun might go down on our way there, too. I think it might change at 1900 hours. One 114.3. My daughter is cooking something in the other room. You know what I had for a quick lunch during our little break in between flights? I grabbed a small flour tortilla, put a couple slices of ham and a slice of cheese on it, rolled it up, and that was my lunch. Gotta eat quickly. We got places to go, things to do, people to meet. Can't be wasting no time. You know what? I should turn around. Hold on. The direction we're heading is pretty much the direction we want to go. The frames will get a little better once we get out of this area. Whoops. That's if I can get my finger off the brake. Yeah, we'll take this runway here. I think that's 270. Ah, the sound. So yeah, we had fun on the last flight. We went over to downtown Detroit and saw the Ambassador Bridge and the GM Ambassador. GM Renaissance Building. I'm also making up buildings too. And then the Comerica Field, which I wonder if it was called Comerica Field back when this came out. I don't think Comerica was around in 1987, was it? That name doesn't ring a bell. But then again, it could be an East Coast thing, so I don't really know. You know how stadiums will change their name depending upon who's sponsoring them. So that's what I'm wondering, if it was called Comerica Field, or if it had been called something else. Maybe it was Tiger Stadium. I saw a sign on there for the Tigers. Maybe it was Tiger Stadium. And so that little white thing that we're seeing out there in the distance, that's the GM Renaissance Center. As you get closer to it, it'll be colored in black, and it's got a gray outline, gray edging on it. And actually, it did not look too bad, considering the technology back in the day. That'll be neat to see in all the different simulators. Flight Sim 98, Flight Sim 5, Flight Sim 2000. It won't be in the X-Planes. I know that. Might be on X-Plane 11. But it's mostly generic autogen is what they have. Okay, we are airborne. Wave goodbye to Detroit. It's been fun. And I think I said the heading that we want to take is 310 out of the Salem. The Salem VOR. And that airport right ahead is Willow Run. Dang. My landing gear's still down. It's really easy to forget because there's no sound effect for the landing gear. Willow Run looks like it's another big airport. It looks like it's got 3 runways. No, 4. There's one here, and 2 that cross. I'm almost thinking like when we come back down this way, we should probably land at that airport. Look at that. X marks the spot. There's buried treasure there. The Willow Run Airport is still there today. Let's put up the right thing. There it is, right there. So you've got a runway here, one there. Although we don't see the other one that was oh, that's a grass runway, right there. I think. Maybe it used to be and they're not using it anymore. But yeah, there's the other one. Good old Detroit. It's actually been a while since we've been to a big city. Well, okay, Toledo. But I mean before that, we hadn't seen a big city since... Man, I don't know. Chicago, maybe? There was like there were some medium-sized cities that we came across. But nothing big, like that. It's like the last big city that we saw that was that big. Toledo was okay, but it was smaller than that one. But yeah, I think Chicago was like the last big, huge, major city that we saw. I think we saw this same little white box on Flight Sim 3, and I thought it might have been a building, but then as we got closer it disappeared. I wonder if this... Yep, see? Disappeared. Well, everything is still kind of working out the same, apparently. I'm not sure what city that is. Ann Arbor. I think that's Ann Arbor that we're looking at. Yeah, it is. Do you see this little fork right here? There's a road here and a road there, and it comes in like that. Why do I keep doing that? There. See, here's Ann Arbor, and here are the two roads that come in here, and then one that kind of heads out, and another one that goes north. See, look at that, sightseeing. We're doing sightseeing with the Amiga Flight Simulator 2. I know some would call me crazy for playing these old simulators, but I say we can still have fun with it. If we had fun with it back in 1987, 89, 91, whatever, then why can't we have fun with it again? Right? And there are people that love to play, you know, the old Atari 2600 games and Commodore 64 games. How would this be any different than that? This is like an old retro game, just like everything else. So what makes this different from, you know, from the other retro games? Nothing. You know, if you can have fun with the old retro games, you be able to do the same thing here as well. That's my way of thinking, anyway. Oh, it's getting dark. turn on the lights there. I'm going to set the Lansing on nav 1 so I can get a distance here. Meanwhile, change nav 1 to Salem. There we go. Lansing is 110.8. Okay, roughly 56 miles. I'd say probably about 50 miles, since the VOR's not at the airport exactly. And I'll show you what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so I got that set up. 090. We're going to turn this way here for a moment. Okay, now I can bring up the flight simulator map. Okay, so as you know, take this big thick highlighter again. We are heading in this direction, like that. Now what I'm doing here on Lansing is I got it tuned in to 090, so that way it intersects right here. So when the needle for nav 1 gets to the center, we'll have an idea of roughly how many miles we are from the airport. I'd say that's about maybe 5 miles or so. It was not that long. There's a mileage thing down here. Yeah, that's 20. Yeah, I'd say about 5 miles. Windows 2000. I never had Windows 2000 or NT. I started with Windows 95. Well, the first PC that I got, if you refer to an IBM compatible and not personal computer, was Windows 95. And then I went to Windows 98. Loved 98. And then after that was Windows XP, which was another great operating system. And I stayed on XP for a long while until Windows 7. And Windows 7 I still use. I have a dual boot system of Windows 7 and Windows 10. Right now I'm on Windows 10. A lot of the stuff now that I have is on Windows 10. but I still have a Windows 7 install. And as a matter of fact, that's where my P3D 4.5 is at. I had it installed on Windows 10, and I don't know what it is with Windows 10, but it gets to the point where I can't pull up the menu. Like, none of the menu options work, and I right-click and no menu comes up. It's annoying. But that doesn't happen on Windows XP. Or 7. Yeah, it doesn't happen on Windows XP either, because you can't run it on Windows XP. Yeah, you're right about that, Fly Low. This is where I, well, the Commodore 64, but that one and this one, this is where I learned how to do VOR navigation. All of my basic flying I learned from this. And I still had to pretty much do it the same way with Flight Sim 5 and 98. They did come out with little add-ons that, and I have one for Flight Simulator 98 that has it's called Flight Director, which has a little GPS thing you can pull up and an EFIS, so you can see your flight path and everything. So if you had Windows 2000, did you have Flight Simulator 2000? And if so, how did it run? Because everything that I read was that Windows 2000 ran horribly. It'll run okay on Windows 7 and Windows 10, but I don't think everything will work with it, like with, you know, with add-ons and stuff. I don't think some add-ons are going to work correctly, because I did have it on Windows 7 originally, but then some of the add-ons I had wouldn't install or wouldn't work right. I was only able to get it to work right with Windows 98, and I had to do that through VMware, and then the graphics looked absolutely horrid because it doesn't recognize any 3D acceleration. So the only way I could get the graphics to look good was with PC emulator, but the fastest processor you can emulate with the PC emulator is a Pentium 200 or a Pentium 233. And it sort of kind of runs. And you can emulate a Voodoo 2 graphics card. So then the graphics actually look pretty good. Clouds actually look like clouds. With the software rendering, it just blah. Doesn't look good. Hey. We're almost at our radial of 310. You can see that here. So we're almost Almost centered there. And then we're just going to wait for this this one here to come to the center, and we should be about 5 miles from the airport. Ah, FSX was your first one. Oh yeah, FSX was not optimized very well. And I think the same thing was with Flight Simulator 2000. It was not optimized very well either. With what little I can still pull up on the internet on Flight Simulator 2000 was that the machines at the time just choked on it. And with the fast graphics card and a Pentium 3, I think it ran better. But then when you got into like a big city like New York or Chicago, then it chugged along. It was having problems. And I think the only way that I'm going to be able to get a good experience out of Flight Simulator 2000, where everything is compatible, like add-ons and all that stuff, is to actually, and that's why I want to, that's the primary reason why I want to rebuild my old computer or computers, is so that way I can get Flight Simulator 2000 running decently. I would have to export the video. There's ways to export it out. Like serial cable or something like that. I found something. I'm definitely not going to sit here with a camera and try to record the screen. That's not going to do that. I'm going to find some way to feed the video out and into an actual recorder. I do have an actual external recorder, if I can reach it. Oh, is this it? No, that's my Note 8 box. That's what that is. I think I feel it. There it is. And some of the videos that I did, some of the early videos that I did on KILR TV was using this. This is a AverMedia external recorder. So if, and it's got HDMI, so if there's a way that I can export the video from like a graphics card or something inside of a retro computer, and then be able to use a converter to be able to go into here, I would be able to record the video and then I can record the audio separately. What I'm not sure though is if the video and the audio is going to sync up correctly. Some of the videos that I had made had problems. because the audio would go out of sync. So I would have to, every so often when editing, I would have to resync the audio until it starts to fall behind and then resync it again. So these two roads here, I believe that's going to Lansing. I think they're going to meet up in Lansing over there. We're locked in pretty good here with the VOR. Look at that. Nice and center. We're going about 110 knots. If you listen to the engine sound long enough, you'll hear what sounds like a overdrive, overdrive, And once you hear it, you will never hear this engine the same way again. It's like that song that you can't get out of your head. It'll be stuck there forever. We're getting a little closer. I saw the needle move for Lansing. Remember, once it centers up here, we should be about 5 miles from the airport. And the vector that we're on here should get us lined up. I think it's going to be runway 33. There's Lansing right over there to the left. So we should be seeing the airport here soon. And the sun is going down. That's why the colors look the way they do. It started to go down at 1900. So at 1930, it'll be nighttime. And unlike Microsoft Flight Simulator 3, we don't have stars in the sky. There's not a moon either. We don't have bubble clouds. The only type of clouds we have is an overcast. Okay, well, we may not be 5 miles from the airport. I mean, this is getting closer, but... it should show up somewhere around here. It almost looks like we're on a big checkerboard field. Except it's black and green. That would make a cool checkerboard, or even a chess table. That's Jackson. Where's Lansing? There it is. So we got two major roads coming in here. This is, I think, Interstate 69. This here is Route 127. And then out here in the distance is Route 96. Recheck that map. I'm surprised we don't see it yet. Maybe they forgot to turn the lights on. There it is. It's over here. Alright, laying the gears down. We'll get one thing of flaps. Bring our elevator trim up a little bit. Now the question is, can I line up with the runway? And remember, it's hard to see where the ground is at as far as how far up we are. So I'm going to have to look up the altitude here. For Lansing... 859. So just got to keep that in mind in regards to our instruments. And by the way, if you haven't adjusted your altimeter, then you'll want to do that by clicking here, A. It's not the A key. You'd think it would be, but it's not. A actually is another view. What was it? I think it's tower view or something. Oh no, it's on my reference card. Gonna drop one more thing of flaps so we can slow it down, because we're at 80 knots. Try to get it slowed down to 60 knots. And kind of bring our vertical speed down. It's a little too fast, I think. See, now the engine, if you listen to it closely, it sounds like it's going, oh wow, oh wow. The engine makes different sounds. No, I didn't change, did not change. It's still the Cessna. But yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? There's two fuel gauges. But you know what? I think these two fuel gauges have been there since, well, I know they were there on Sublogic Flight Simulator 2. I think they were there on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2 as well. And maybe the first one. I've done videos of the first one. I think it's like that on the first one too. Maybe one is the main tank and one's a backup tank. Need to get this leveled off here. We're still going down a little too quickly. If I get too low, I'm going to have a hard time trying to line up. I got to give myself some altitude. You need more altitude! Alright, map display. There's the airport right there. Okay, the runways are over here on this side. See, sometimes you just got to use the nav map in order to figure out where the runways are, because it's kind of hard to tell from that. Ah, debugger, yeah. 2 tanks. Yeah, that's right. It does have a tank. Now that I think about it. When I was thinking about the A2A aircraft and where you can do the walk around and you check both tanks, and it's like that on what is it, the XP Realistic for X-Plane? Or no, REP, Reality Expansion Pack. I think that's what it's called. You do a walk around and you check both fuel tanks. I can see the runways. There's one here and one there. That wasn't the one we wanted to land on, though. There's a cross or diagonal runway right there. That was the one we were planning on, but I think I'm going to go with what I see. as far as landing. The Piper Archer was the plane that was on the Commodore 64. That one wasn't a Cessna. For the longest time, I thought it was. Alright, we're going to need another thing of flaps. We're at 70 knots. And it looks like we're just a little bit high. See, it's a little easier to see the runways now. So you got to be up in altitude to be able to see them a little decently. Otherwise, they all kind of blend together. Coming in just a bit high here. There we go. I don't think this one has a fuel box. No, it does not. Because you know, airports that have a fuel box, not everyone does. We gotta go to it. Here is one thing, though. This does have a Learjet on it, and that's probably, well, like I said, the other old ones had one too, but not a Learjet, but they had the 2 fuel tanks. Yeah, but you can switch to a Learjet on this one, which is interesting because the Sublogic Jet program, which uses the Sublogic scenery discs, they also made that for the Amiga, but it's almost pointless to have that one because you have a Learjet here. You have a Learjet on this one. What's this? Do we have a taxiway? Do we actually have a taxiway here? Oh my goodness. I don't think we had this on the other simulators. Let's take a look. I have to bring up the map zoom, at least click it once. And then I can use the plus key and stuff. Oh, wait a minute. It's not... Okay, it's not a taxiway. It's this green part here that's now dark. That's what that is. And speaking of dark, it is nighttime now. It is now officially nighttime. Okay, let's go ahead and end it here. Welcome to Capital City. That's a cool name, Capital City. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this flight. If so, click that like button. It helps out, it really does. And share the video, leave some comments. It all helps out with that whole algorithm thing. So that way other Amiga fans and flight simulation fans know that this series is out there. And become a part of our community. Subscribe. And ring that notification bell while you're at it. It's a good thing because you get notified of future flight simulation content that is uploaded to the channel, as well as live streams. And you want to be kept up to date on that, don't you? Sure you do. Also on Twitch, I do live streams there, and I appreciate your support. Head on over there and follow me. Love to be able to see you and meet you, and hey, you get to be a part of these live streams. You get to be a part of these recordings, because I'll do recordings there and live stream, and you get to see all of this ahead of time and get shout outs and get to talk with me, and it makes the flight just really fun. So hope to see you over there. And then Instagram, I take pictures and photos of pictures that I work on behind the scenes. Gives you a little peek on what it is that I might be working on. Twitter, that is our communication channel with you folks. Let you know about official KILR news and announcements. And once in a while, when I find something fun, I'll do a retweet and share with you folks. Also, Snapchat, we use that for fun too. Not all the time, but once in a while, just do a fun picture. So if you've got Snapchat and would like to follow us, we have one. We have an account. And then Patreon for those of you who would like to donate and invest and help us grow this channel. There's that avenue as well. And you do get something in return as well. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. And I will see you on the next leg of our journey. Have a killer, awesome day.